Hello guys, welcome back to this video, and in this video I'll be talking to you guys about Ubuntu. So Ubuntu is a beautiful operating system and it's a lot different than Windows. So this video is specifically made for the people who are coming from the Windows environment. So this is what Ubuntu looks like. So there's activities here, and then the date here, and then this is the other things. So the first thing that you guys do is click on start, right? So what is the start here? So there is no option of start per se. So this is what is there. This is called show application. So when you click here, these are all your installed applications which come up, and these are the folders which you can just open and go through, and then this is another folder. So this is what the start menu typically looks like. So when you click the start button in Windows, you get the start menu, right? But where you click it here, it shows you this. So this goes in multitasking, whereas in Windows it shows you the shows application. So this is one of the major differences. Now apart from this is, let's say you want to turn off the computer, so all those options are available here. So these are also the extensions which are running. You see in the notification icons that keep running. So these are those notification icons. So when you click here, it shows you the volume, and then the Wi-Fi that you connected to, and then your battery settings, and then your normal settings, lock and power and log out. So here you get all these options where you can power off, suspend or log out. Suspend is the same thing as sleep, and power off is used to shut down or restart. So yeah, so this is those things. And then when you click on settings, these are the basically your control panel which you get in Windows, but it's really simplified. There is Wi-Fi options, pretty simple, and then there is network, which shows you what other network that you're connected to, and then there's Bluetooth. I currently don't have a Bluetooth installed on my laptop, so it's not showing anything, but if you do, then it will detect it. Then this is the background images, then the appearance, it's supposed to be dark mode, standard or light, and then in the notifications we have what kind of notifications do you want to be displayed here. It comes as a tiny boxes in the corner, and then the search option, what should it search for. And in applications, you can go to applications and check the settings of every application. So as you can see, different applications have different kind of settings, and we can change those settings depending on us. And then the privacy comes in, and in privacy we have the location services, connectivity, and then we have Thunderbolt. I don't have a Thunderbolt, so it's not displaying here, but if I had, then it would be displayed here. Then this is the file history which comes in, and then the screen locking and diagnostics. And going back, and then we have the online accounts. Let's say you have the calendar here. So when you have the calendar here, one of the things that you can do is add your Google accounts, and it will sync, and it will show you all your Google calendar stuff. If you have any other account, you can add that in, and it will automatically sync it with the calendar. And then when it comes to sharing, my computer's name is Shashank Hyper, and media sharing is currently off. If you turn it on, you can access it using the Wi-Fi. And in the sound, you come in, and here you can see this is the sound options available. It's pretty straightforward. And the power options, which is again pretty straightforward. And then in display, we have the orientation and the resolution and refresh rate. You can change the refresh rate here, whichever you choose, depending on how much your monitor supports. And then mouse and touchpads, the same settings which you get in Windows. You can check that. And then the keyboard shortcuts, you want to change any kind of keyboard shortcut for anything, is available here. These are all the keyboard shortcuts available for using on Ubuntu. You can also add your own keyboard shortcut and it will work aram se. Going to printers, currently I don't have any printers attached, but if you did, it will show up here, and you can just click add a printer and it will add it. In the removal media, you see this is what it will do every time you insert a removable media. And then the color options, each device, yeah, so laptop screen has a kind of color, what kind of color it should manage, that's it. And then region and language, this is the kind of keyboard that I choose to be with, and the language you can choose and the formats you can choose. Universal access is for the same thing that you have in Windows, where you have the screen reader, zoom in, large text, high contrast. And then this is the users, wherein you can add in more users and you can delete a few users easily. Then these are the default applications. These are the applications that will launch every time something related to these applications open up. And then the date and time, then about, where your PC's details are mentioned. So here also software updates is enabled. So when you click on software updates, it opens up the software update window, which will immediately check for updates. So this is what the software and updates look like. There is nothing like, in the Windows update, you just click check for updates and it checks for updates. But here you can choose what kind of updates that you're looking for. So in Ubuntu software, these are the updates that you will be getting, and you can download it from Server for India or any other server. And other software, there are many times you install other softwares. So in Windows, what happens is, let's say you installed a software from, let's say, the Zoom app. So the Zoom app is responsible for updating on its own. But in this case here, when you install the Zoom app, there will be another option come here from the Zoom app, and when you tick it, the Zoom app's updates will come directly as and when they publish it from their source code. So in updates, as you can see here, this is basically the updates that you're looking for, and this is the long-term support versions which I am choosing. You can also choose for any new version, so that any new version, when it comes out, it will notify you. But I like to keep it on long-term support versions because it is very much stable. And then going to authentication, these are the authenticated places from where it gets the updates from. And additional drivers, let's say you are using NVIDIA, you can click here and it will apply the changes and it will get the updates for NVIDIA drivers. So developer options is, I've currently not enabled it, but let's say you want to enable it, you can go ahead. And then this is the live patch, which helps the system, keeps the system secure by applying security updates that don't require a restart. So this is really important because if your PC is running and it gets new updates, in Windows you always need to restart, but in this case you will not have to restart. So let's close this. So this is what the settings overview looks like. Now let's close it quickly and I'll show you how the file manager looks like. This is the file manager, and it is changeable this way. This is the home, this is what the home looks like, and then desktop I have kept it empty for now. There's documents, downloads, music, pictures, same thing. And in the home is like the important part. So start, where if you just right click on anything and if you start it, it would come in the start option. So let's say desktop and you click start, then when you hit start, it comes here. Fine. So these are the important locations that you can just add in here, and you can keep recent as the recent files that you have opened. And going back to home, it says it shows you all the files that are available. Now you must be wondering, where are the drives, why are the drives available, right? So click on other locations and here all your drives will be available. Let's say in Windows you had a C drive, D drive, E drive, F drive, whatever. So when you come back to Ubuntu, over here it will show up C drive, D drive, E drive, F drive, right? And it will also show you the storage capacity and etc. So this is what the file manager looks like. And when you copy files from one place to another, in Windows what happens is you get an explorer which says the files are being copied, etc. But in this case that doesn't happen. I'll just show you one thing. Let's just copy my torrents folder to, let's say, a music folder. So what happens is this thing pops up. So this is copying 65 files, and this is how copying happens or moving happens in Ubuntu. But in case of let's say Windows, this is you won't get this kind of a thing. You get like a proper box which will show you things are getting copied or not. So let's minimize this and I'll show you some other options now. um, Now we have discussed about these, and these are basically the extensions that I have installed. And now when you click on activities, what happens is it shows you the overview of the activities that are currently running. And these are many screens that we have. This is another desktop, this is another desktop, this is another desktop. So let's say you have another, you can also connect like multiple computer screens to these, and you can make one of these screens go there. Now let's talk about installing softwares and deleting softwares. Now let's say you want to install softwares in Microsoft Windows. What happens is you can just go to the website where you want to download the software from, and then just directly install the software, clicking next, 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 next. But in Ubuntu, it's slightly changed. So you have to go to Ubuntu software, and here you will get every single software that you can think of. So these are the installed softwares currently which I have installed, and any kind of update will come here regarding any of these applications, and Explore shows you all the other applications that you can see. Now let's say you're looking for VLC media player, for example. You just go ahead and type VLC and hit the search option, and as you can see VLC pops up, and here you can directly install it and remove it. It's pretty easy and straightforward. Now let's say there is something that is not available here. Let me just try checking if the Zoom app is available here. And yeah, Zoom clients is also available. Now let's try installing this Zoom app, not from here but from Chrome, so that you get an idea of how we get the files, right? So opening Chrome and Zoom app. So let's go to the download center, and it automatically detects that we're using Linux. For Ubuntu, we will be using Ubuntu's, and in case nothing is available and it shows you, what kind of architecture we're using, 64-bit, and what version of the app you're looking for. We're looking for the, of course, the latest version, and as you can see, it's going to download .deb for Ubuntu. Now clicking download. Now again, I'll show you guys on Ubuntu, this is already available, but I'm trying to show you that there is another way to install it, and we can also install it from Chrome. So yeah, we want to keep the file, and it is a I'll just open the downloads quickly. This is what it looks like, .deb extension. So in Windows we have .exe extension, but here we have .deb extension. And when you open the .exe extension, what it basically does is it takes you through the procedure of installing the software. But here it's slightly different. When you open it, it directly takes you to the Ubuntu Software Center, from where you will be installing it. So every application in Ubuntu is installed using the Ubuntu software only. When you open it and you try to install it, this is what pops up. It will show you the zoom, etc., and the features about it, and you click install here. Okay, you click install here, and then it requires an authentication. I'll just quickly type in my password, and it starts to install it. So this is an alternative way. In case a software is not available for Ubuntu, you can install it in this way, .deb files. Now I'm sure you must be wondering that what about some Adobe softwares and all which are not available. There are solutions available for all of those things, so you don't have to worry about it at all. Now Zoom is installed, and I'll quickly minimize this and show you, and as you can see, it pops up here, and you can open it and start to go ahead using it. So this is what it looks like. Now let's close it. Now apart from this, I'd like to show you the command prompt also. This is the terminal, which is the command prompt in Windows. And let's go ahead with some other applications, and these are the other applications that are available, wherein the disks is the option where it shows you, that these are the partitions available. This is something like the disk manager in Windows. Then again, let's open utilities. Document viewer is like the PDF viewer for Ubuntu. And then we have Shotwell. This is basically the application which is used to view pictures and crop them and do the basic editing. And the system monitor is basically the task manager. So you have this is what it looks like, and you can go to the processes and you can see these are the applications that are currently running. And if you want me to run some I'll just run some application and I'll close it. I'll just open calculator, and let's search for calculator quickly. Yeah, it's a GNOME calculator. So you can just right click on it and kill it. So this is the end process thing which it shows up in Windows, and we have closed it successfully. So if you click on the resources, it shows you the graphs like how it shows in Windows, and if you click on the file systems, it shows you that these are the drives available and how much of it has been used already. Now let's close it and see what else I need to show you guys. And text editor is the basically the notepad for Ubuntu. And let's go to tweaks. Now tweaks, something like tweaks is not really available on Windows. Now tweaks is something where you fine tune your Ubuntu. I don't think you can relate to it in terms of Windows, but you can relate to it in terms of Android. You see how you can root your phone and then you can install some kind of extensions where it shows you some details that you could not probably see. So that is basically giving you complete access to the operating system. So here tweaks does the same thing. So you can tweak anything and everything about the whole looks and how you want it to display things in Ubuntu. Now you click on appearance and you can install your own applications, themes, cursor, everything is available. And extensions, you see I have the Bing wallpaper changer installed. What it does is it picks up the latest Bing wallpapers and it changes it for me every day. And caffeine is, when you want to disable the auto suspend, when you click here, it disables it, and you click back, it enables the auto suspend. And then the desktop icons, I have currently disabled it, but if I turn it on, then I can, add some, folders there, but I do not want to, so I'll keep it disabled. And this is the net speed, which displays the internet speed for me here. I can disable it and I can enable it. So as you can see that these are some of the other extensions, and you have like loads of extensions available for Ubuntu, and you can tweak Ubuntu to the next level. Now we have discussed like most of the features. Let me see if I'm missing out on something. And regarding Office, let's say you must be wondering, that oh, I need to do my presentations, etc. Presentations work normally in this. You don't have to worry about anything. You just open the presentation. Let's say you do not like one kind of software. There are hundreds of softwares available, open source softwares available, where you can install it and get along with it. And I have this applications Landshare. So this is an important application because I have one Windows operating system and I have one Ubuntu operating system on different laptops. So let's say I want to transfer files, you can automatically just hit send and send files or folders, select a file, and then you can select the peer that you can. The same application is also available in Windows and Mac OS, and you can transfer files this way very easily. So this is that. And then Firefox, and yeah, multi-touch. So let's say you are browsing Chrome, just Google something. Now the thing is, you want to know that if we can use one finger, two finger, or three fingers on the touchpad. So one finger works fine and two fingers work fine, but you have a lot of gestures in Windows wherein your three fingers you can move and it does something. When you do four fingers, it does something. But in Ubuntu, it's kind of limited to two fingers. But of course, there are solutions available wherein if your touchpad supports four fingers, five fingers, you can also enable it there. So this is one of the cons, that it does not come built in. And another thing is the battery life. The battery life is greatly enhanced. I'll just show you. So as you can see, the battery life is greatly enhanced. If you are coming from, let's say, if you're using a laptop which is giving you 3 hours, 4 hours of battery life, you will suddenly start getting at least 6 hours of battery life when you're using Ubuntu, because it's really power efficient. And you also have, like, a lot of resources available online where you can increase the battery life of your laptop to, let's say, 6.57 hours using Ubuntu and some tweaks. So just go ahead and check out some tweaks and you can install the battery life that way. Let's say in Windows we have this wherein your phone option, wherein all your notifications pop up on your computer. Well, the same thing is available on Ubuntu as well. Let's quickly go here and in the utility, sorry, it's called KDE Connect. So when you open it, it shows here, and as you can see, my phone is already connected, and it shows me the battery percentage of my phone. And you can ring device or send files or SMS messages, and all the notifications that keep coming here from my phone will also keep popping up.